Good morning, friends. Welcome to Pueblo West Storytime. I am Miss Beth, and I hope you're doing very well this morning. And if you are sitting with your friends or your brothers and sisters or your mom and dad, I want you to say good morning to them too and ask them how they're doing. So, good morning and good morning. If there's anybody sitting behind you, make sure you wave to them too. Good morning. And we're going to sing our good morning welcome song. So get your hands together and let's get started. Clap, clap, clap your hands as slowly as you can. Clap, clap, clap your hands as quickly as you can. Roll, roll, roll your hands as slowly as you can. Roll, roll, roll your hands as quickly as you can. Slide, slide, slide your hands as slowly as you can. Slide, slide, slide your hands as quickly as you can. Shake, shake, shake your hands as slowly as you can. Shake, shake, shake your hands as quickly as you can. Up and down to the side and everywhere to get those wiggles out. All right, yay! And we also, as you can see on our board, have Bingo, the dog here. So let's say good morning to Bingo. Good morning, Bingo. How are you? Do you know how to spell Bingo's name? Can you see the letters up here on the board? If not, let's try to sound it out. B, I, N, G, O. B, I, N, G, O. That spells bingo. And we're going to sing a little song about bingo. And each round of the song, we're going to take away a letter. And we're going to clap in place of that letter. And then we'll see as we go along what letters we have left. It's going to be kind of a silly song. So let's get started. There was a farmer, had a dog, and Bingo was his name. Oh, B-I-N-G-O, 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 and Bingo was his name. Oh, let's take away the B. B, and we'll put it down here. So I want you to take a good look at what letters we have left. And instead of saying the B now, we're going to clap our hands instead. Let's say the other letters. There was a farmer, had a dog, and Bingo was his name. Oh, I-N-G-O, 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 and Bingo was his name. Oh, what letter do you think I'm going to take away next? If you guessed I, you are correct. We'll put that one down here. And let's look at those letters that we have left. N-G-O. We have two claps in the beginning because we took two letters away. So, there was a farmer, had a dog, and Bingo was his name. Oh, N-G-O, 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 and Bingo was his name. Oh, let's take away the N, and put it down here. We took away three letters now. We have two left. G-O. Oh, does anybody know what that spells? G-O. G-O. Go. All right, let's go. There was a farmer, had a dog, and Bingo was his name. Oh. G-O. G-O. G-O, and Bingo was his name. Oh. We are now going to take away the G. G. And that leaves us with just one letter left, our O at the end. O. So how many claps are we going to do? This is where it kind of gets tricky, and this one always trips me up too, so hopefully I do it right. We have how many claps? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's give it a try. There was a farmer, had a dog, and Bingo was his name. Oh, B-O, O, O, and Bingo was his name. Oh, almost slipped up there, but I saved myself. All right, we're taking our way, our last letter, and what letter was that? our O-O-O. So how many letters do we have now? They're all down here. So we have 0 up here. So how many claps are we going to do? If we took away all the letters, how many were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to do 5 claps. And how many letters are we actually going to say? None. We're just going to do claps the whole time. So let's see if we can get this right. There was a farmer, had a dog, and Bingo was his name. Ow. And Bingo was his name. Oh, give yourself a round of applause. Yay! That song is always, I thought, one of the tougher ones. Because you got to figure out how many claps to do and how many letters you have left. But we did an awesome job with that. So let's get right into our first book. It is called, actually, I want to bring up the fact that both of our books today talk about curiosity and being curious. So do you know what that word means, to be curious? It means you want to know a lot about what's going on around you and the things you see and the things you experience. It means even if you're feeling afraid of something, you still want to try it to see what it's like. So food and going to new places and making new friends, that's what it is to be curious. So both of our books today have some curious characters in them. And because they are curious, they meet with some really wild, crazy adventures. So let's see what Oliver the Curious Owl gets himself into. And this book is by Chad Otis. Here's Oliver. The owl family had everything they needed in their big tree. It was very quiet and very safe, so they never ventured far. The only question they ever asked was, who? 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 But Oliver was new to the family, and he asked lots of other questions besides who. He asked, who? What? When? Where? Why? He just wants to know all about the world. He's a curious owl. Soon, Oliver knew the answer to every question he had about being an owl. Now he wanted to learn about life outside the big tree. Who lives in those faraway woods? No one knows, Oliver. Where does that river go, Dad? Don't leave the tree, Oliver. Why can't I leave the tree, Mom? You might get lost, Oliver. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. There's a tiny little bug on that branch right there. And Oliver sees him too. Then one day he met someone else who asked lots of questions. Eep. My name? Oliver. Eep. I'm an owl. What are you? What's your name? Eep, eep. You're a bug? Whose name is Bug? Eep. No, I really like it. Oliver and Bug became fast friends. No one else seemed curious about the world outside the big tree besides them. Together they could imagine who and what they might discover if they followed the river to its end. But every time Bug suggested they go exploring, Oliver decided it was safer to stay home. He was afraid they might get lost. Then one night, snap! Bug fell into the river. Oh no! And was quickly swept far from the big tree. Oliver didn't know what to do. He paced, he hopped, he chirped, chirped, chirped. And then, do you think he's going to go after the bug? You're sure he does. He leaped from the big tree and chased after his friend. he got over his fear and decided to save his friend. When Oliver reached the faraway woods, he was surrounded by strange new things. Ooh. So his adventure begins. As he searched for Bug, he met new animals too. Hi there! Why are we upside down? Why are your ears so big? Where does this tree or where does this river go? Of course, he had lots of questions. Do you know what animals those are? They're hanging upside down in the tree. They look like birds, but they're actually mammals. They're called bats. They have huge ears. What are you building? Why are you eating wood? You saw my friend float by. When? So we have our beavers there chopping down the trees. What are all those teeth for? Why do your eyes glow? A waterfall where? And I bet you know what that is, huh? It's an alligator and a crocodile. Oliver raced toward his friends as fast as he could go. Bug! He swooped down and scooped Bug up just in time. Hooray! He saved him. Such a good friend. They burst from the cool darkness of the woods. It was the end of the river, and it was more incredible than they had imagined. Oliver and Bug were very far from home, but they couldn't stop now. Look at this cool picture. Look at all they see. Can you spot some things in there that you might recognize? I see whales and seals and seagulls and turtles and flowers. I think they might have made it to the ocean. They made new friends, talking to the seals, tried new things, the whales, and explored new places. Oh, even down to the crabs. They even ate new foods. Now they were very, very far from home. And they never had so much fun in their lives. So they're laughing it up. Ha ha ha! Having a good old time. Suddenly the sky turned dark. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The wind twisted and the rain fell harder. Everything looked strange and different. They were lost. Oliver began to think maybe they shouldn't have explored all day or gone so far from home. Maybe they should have stayed in their safe big tree. Oh no, what will they do? But then Bug had an idea. He says, if they followed all the who's and the what's and the when's and the where's and the why's they had asked that day, it might lead them back to... So that was their very good idea. They decided to talk to all their friends that they had just made and met to see if they could give them directions back home. And sure enough, they're going back to the big tree. It was strange. The big tree didn't seem quite so big now. Why was that? Maybe because before all they knew was the tree, and now they explored the giant world outside of it, and they realized the world is much bigger than their home. Oliver's family had been very worried. They hugged him tight and told him never to leave home again. But that night, Oliver and Bug told their family all about the amazing world they had discovered beyond the big tree. And they said they would be very sad if they never got to see it again. So the next day, now take a look at this cool picture too. Everyone followed Oliver and Bug. Who, why, what, when, where? They had lots of questions. And how, says Oliver. So now they're all curious owls going out to explore the world. they wanted to learn all about it. That was such a cool book, Oliver the Curious Owl. So before we get started on our next book about some curious creatures, let's sing another song. And we can see on Bingo up here, he has some pretty big ears. And so that made me think of one of my favorite songs from when I was little called Do Your Ears Hang Low? Have you heard of this song? I added a few extra verses to it, so we're going to talk about our nose and our hair and everything else. But let's get started with our ears, and this is how it goes. Do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie 'em in a knot? Can you tie 'em in a bow? Can you throw 'em over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do your ears hang low? Let's do our hair now. And even if you don't have long hair, even if your hair is really short, you can still pretend. It's always fun to pretend. Does your hair hang low? Does it wobble to and fro? Can you tie it in a knot? Can you tie it in a bow? Can you throw it over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Does your hair hang low? Let's do our nose now. How many of you have a long nose out there? Does your nose hang low? Does it wobble to and fro? Can you tie it in a knot? Can you tie it in a bow? Can you throw it over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Does your nose hang low? Let's do, what else can we do? Let's do our eyelashes, those hairs in our eyes. Be careful not to poke yourself in the eye though. Do your eyelashes hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie 'em in a knot? Can you tie 'em in a bow? Can you throw 'em over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do your eyelashes hang low? Let's end with the original verse with our ears. Do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie 'em in a knot? Can you tie 'em in a bow? Can you throw 'em over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do your ears hang low? Yay! All right, let's get into our next book about curious creatures called Do Not Go In There by Ariel Horn and illustrated by Izzy Burton. So as you can see, these are pretend imaginary animals, kind of like creatures you would picture in your mind. One of them, as you'll see, wants to go on a grand adventure, and the other one is a little bit nervous about it. Bogart and Morton didn't always see eye to eye on things. That must be Bogart and that must be Morton. And there's a door. Wonder what's on the other side. Do not go in there. But that gold doorknob is so shiny, I want to touch it. Ooh, he's excited about that door. And not so much. There's probably a scary wolf with beady eyes who eats bunnies for supper in there. But look how red the door is. Oh, what if it's like a scratch and sniff sticker? And it smells like candy. Trust me, do not go in there. There's got to be a wolf behind the door. There's always a scary wolf in these kinds of stories. No. This is a happy kind of story with a happy ending. I bet there are fireworks and party balloons behind that door and robots who are in a robot band. Do not go in there. Maybe that scary wolf was lonely, so he invited his evil twin to join him. And they're collecting every fork in the world. So there are lots of pointy things in there, and you could get very hurt. Is it a fork fortress? With a gumdrop castle? I bet there's a chocolatey syrup moat. With graham cracker boats? Ooh, that does sound really wonderful and yummy. Look at his graham cracker candy castle. hopes are for the spaceship the wolf and his twin are building. Once they eat all the bunnies on Earth, they will have to look for bunnies on other planets. Maybe there is a spaceship in there with buttons that we can press. Lots of buttons. Because who doesn't like to press buttons? No, there are wolves. Do you hear me? Wolves. Not wolves, puppies. Snuggly, soft, cuddly puppies going into outer space for the very first time. With names like Captain Chewy and Mr. Slappy, with puppy-sized space helmets. We cannot go in there. The scary wolf and evil twin spaceship probably just caught fire, and the fire will spread if you open the door. We can make s'mores. Woohoo! He's so super excited about everything, it makes me laugh. If the fire spreads, we're all doomed. He expects just the worst to happen if that door opens. But if we stop the fire, we're all saved. And he expects the best to happen. And there might be a carnival with crazy spinning rides that make us dizzy. Ooh, there might just be. Or a magic wand that can make us invisible. Or a room where we can color all over the walls with permanent markers. Oh, he's looking a little excited now. He's beginning to think, oh, maybe there is some cool stuff in that place I haven't explored yet. It's not all scary. Let's go in there. And that's the end. I think they chose to go in there together as friends. So I encourage you to be curious about stuff that you see around you in the world around you. Ask questions if you don't know the answer and just explore things. Of course, you don't want to go off on your own, but if you go with your mom and dad or your brother and sister, they can help you explore, and it's like a grand adventure. You never know what you're going to find or learn. So that's it for our story time today, and there's going to be another story time, Miss Rachel's Jammy story time tonight at 7:30, so be sure to tune into that. And in the meantime, come in and visit us at the library. We're open, and you can get tons of kids' crafts at the desk. So until next Thursday at 10:30 for another story time. My name is Miss Beth, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.